Welcome to the Brady Marcs podcast with your host Brady Yashia from Brady Marcs Buyers Advisory. Enjoy discussions with a variety of guests and pioneers from diverse backgrounds, each sharing their unique perspectives on property, business, industry and more.
I'm thrilled to have a very special guest with me, Brie Prince, a leading agent at Hive Property. Brie has made remarkable strides in the real estate industry, and we're excited to chat about her journey and insights. Brie has achieved incredible success, selling 64 properties in the last 12 months alone, with an average market time of just 34 days per listing. As the driving force behind Hive, Brie has introduced innovative solutions that have streamlined real estate transactions and significantly enhanced client experiences. Her reputation as one of Canberra's top real estate agents is well earned. Thanks to her strong negotiation skills and unwavering commitment to client satisfaction, this dedication is evident in the numerous personal referrals and glowing testimonials she consistently receives. In addition to her sales achievements, Bree is a highly sought-after auctioneer, known for engaging personality and ability to build trust with clients. Beyond her professional accomplishments, Bree is passionate about mentoring the next generation of real estate professionals and advocating for diversity and inclusion within the industry. Welcome, Bree. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, Brady. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I have lots to ask you, and I thought we'd start at the beginning. If you could just share a little bit with the listeners about your journey into real estate and what sparked the passion for you to go into this field.
The very first memory that comes to mind for me is literally walking through an open home with my mum and dad. It was in Harcourt Hill, so it was in kind of the prestige area of Canberra, Nichols. And I just loved the idea of a plan and looking at brochures and going through open homes and things like that. And I was only, I don't know, I must have been this big. But I took that plan home, and I remember, like, in my mind, I furnished the house, and I thought, I think for me, I loved the idea of the architecture and the design. So it was kind of a natural progression for me to kind of, because I was so interested in houses, was to kind of go down that path essentially. So that was my very first memory. But I guess my real journey started in Sydney, actually. So I did a little bit of real estate when I came out of school, but after travelling for a couple of years, came and actually worked for McGrath up in Sydney, Linfield.
So did I work for McGrath in Sydney. Yes. I remember those days.
Very long time ago.
Yes. And I started in Linfield too.
I know. It's interesting how it all comes full circle. But so for me, that was a shock to the system. I'd come out of Canberra, where probably at that point in time houses were worth maybe, I don't know, 300,000 or 400,000, and I'd been thrown into the Upper North Shore in this market that was completely different, where we were working, the Killara Triangle, which was three streets in Killara, and probably at that time, I think our average sale price was about 3.5. You're probably transacting in there for 10 to 12 million now.
Yes.
So. But even, that price point, it was this whole different world that I wasn't privy to in Canberra, and I loved it. Got me hooked. So, that's kind of where it all started for me.
Yeah. So there was a bit of a shock to the system, learning the different pricing structures and the types of homes and things like that. Was there anything else in the early days that you remember?
Yes. This is a little bit embarrassing, but so when I first started, the agent that I worked with she used to be a school teacher, but she was very posh, I guess you could say, very reserved, and I was a little bit cheeky at the time, and I'd gone for the interview, and I got the job, and I had probably come out of a period of my life that maybe we all go through, I don't know, but, I was a little bit wild, had a few piercings in places I probably shouldn't have, definitely looked different to what I do now. And I thought I'll just be a little cheeky and see if I could put one more piercing in and see if she notices. Anyway, first day in, she pulled me straight up and was like, you are now working on the upper North Shore of Sydney. You need to get rid of all of the piercings or you don't come back. And so I still remember that because, I just realized at that point that I needed, if I was going to be working in a high-end space, if I'm going to be working with this caliber of homes and clientele, I needed to change. I needed to not look different, but polished, a little bit more polished than I was. Yeah. So that was, that was incredibly important for me now in what I'm doing in Canberra in the high-end space as well, because it's all about, that experience, that look, that professionalism that I learnt very quickly and had to adapt to very quickly. So, yeah.
We all have memories from our early days.
Very much so. Yeah.
So you've had a really interesting background. Before real estate, you were a competitive gymnast.
I was.
How has that impacted on your real estate profession?
Look, I'm very competitive. So I think it's really taught me a lot about, firstly, determination and not giving up. I love looking back on training as a gymnast because, look, there were some hard times. Like I still have memories of, on the couch when I was a kid, and this is going to sound awful to my parents because they did not make me go, but, and I'd be bawling my eyes out. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to training. It was hard, but shit happens, right? And these days as well, like real estate is hard. Like it is great, but it's hard. And I think the thing that I took out of gymnastics is, you get hit, you fall, you get hurt, you've got to get back up, right? So it's the same, I guess, mentality now in real estate where it's like, you can have a few hits, right? You have one of those days and you got to brush it off and you've got to get back into it. So that, but also, the discipline around the training, being structured, what we had to eat, and also belief. Gymnastics is all in the mind. I mean, obviously you've got to be trained, but if you can't believe and if you don't believe that you're going to do this trick or this tumble or whatever it is, you won't do it. So again, it's the same in real estate. I just got goosebumps. But it's like, it's the same in real estate, right? If you can't see it, if you can't see the dream, if you don't believe it, it won't play out. It's not going to happen. So I took a lot from gymnastics.
It's interesting how our past career journey or even journey, the pathway from when we were at high school, the things we did, actually sets us up for the future.
Yeah.
So the mindset, having the right mindset and being patient and persistent is what does make a successful real estate agent.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yep.
And it is our past that takes us to the place where we need to be. I mean, I'm still learning. I've been in real estate now for nearly 17 years.
Yeah.
And every day's a new lesson for me.
Me
too. Even having the time to speak with you, I feel that that's a new lesson for me on another level. So I think anybody that's listening to us today, what they can take from this is when you are embarking on a career in real estate, bring to the table what you learnt before, but be open and willingness to continue to learn.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, agreed.
So, Brie, you and I are both passionate about women in real estate. And me personally, I like to help and empower other women to be the best version of themselves and to be successful. What are the things that you do to help empower other women?
Look, I think for me, it's about letting people, I guess, being the poster for the person that has done it or is doing it, right? For me, there was a period in my career where I felt like I was going in circles. I was doing okay. I was a good agent. Everyone was telling me that, you're going to be the best and you're all of this stuff, right? But I just wasn't getting anywhere. And I think for me, it's about that belief, but I want people to understand that you can do it and you can have it all. Like, it's hard. Like, it's not easy, and that journey can be tricky, but I guess leaning on people in the industry and having a good circle around you. For me, that was probably the biggest difference and the biggest change. And so I want to be that for other people. So there's I'm going to say it's a misconception about me sometimes in our market, that I can come across as, a bit strong and harsh and bitchy. To be honest, I've been told that before. But I really want people to understand that's not me. I am the furthest away from that as possible. And I want people to understand that, I am approachable. They can come to me. And if you want to hear anything about what I'm still doing, I'm still learning. Like, oh my goodness, I've only just started auctioneering. I've been doing that for about the last 2 years, but we've really only dived into that in the last 12 months. And so I'm still learning too. So I like to learn from everyone else as well. But having a good circle of people around you, and the right circle.
Yes, it's got to be the right people. Yeah.
Because in the past for me, I've had people around me that I thought were building me up, but they probably weren't. And I've now found my circle. Josh, Sam, the guys at Hive are incredible, and that has made all the difference to me. Big time.
So you found your home.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes, they're my family. And we say that all the time. And, even down to, and this is, I guess, a bit of a personal thing for me. I'm doing IVF at the moment, and we've been doing that for 6 months. And they are literally, my Hive group chat get the text from me in the hospital bed around how many eggs, what have they found today? Like not before my husband. My husband gets it first, but they are the second group of people. So it's my whole Hive work chat that are with me on that journey. So, it's home and their family.
That's great.
Without a doubt.
Yes. So the book Stillness by Ryan Holiday has had a major impact on your life. Mm-hmm. How has this impacted your professional life?
So Josh gave me that book to read, and I've read it 1.5 times. I'm halfway through it again. It gives me perspective. It feels like my go-to when Josh has a saying where when you're in everything, right? When everything's happening and you're down on the ground and you're feeling overwhelmed and it's all, you're in it, right? You're in life. He's like, step away. Like, look back, look down on everything that's happening, step away. And, I think that's something that I do by reading that book again because it just allows me perspective. It allows me to kind of step back and go, it's okay. Like, yes, you're juggling a lot. Yes, whatever it is, but remembering perspective, remembering that it's okay to also make mistakes, that we're human. Remember to stop, as all most professionals, we don't know when to stop or how to, I guess. So remembering that I need to take a break, that I need to look after myself. So stoicism's, there's a lot in there that just makes me think a lot more. So it's kind of my escape.
Well, there's so many lessons in that book. Yeah. I think I need to read it myself. I'm sure a lot more listeners now will be reading it.
Yeah, well, Josh gave it to me, and honestly, it's the best thing. I love it. Mm.
So what led you to Hive and becoming your own agent?
So when I was in Sydney, I always wanted to be my own agent at some point. And that was the decision around moving from Sydney to Canberra. Part of that was I didn't want to establish myself as an agent in Sydney because I felt I would find it very hard to then move. So we made the decision. We moved back to Canberra. I worked with another agency for about 4 years, and they were fantastic. You know, they gave me all the basics to be an agent. But I was looking for that next step and that next level. And, you know, I saw a gap in the market in Canberra for something different. I saw Josh and Sam's business, and they'd only been around for 12 months at the time. And it was a meeting, one of actually Matt Shippard had said, you have to come over and meet Josh. And so we had a coffee, and I knew instantly. I was like, this is my place. But that little seed of doubt crept into my head, and Josh will laugh at this, but I went back and forth probably, I think it was 3 or 4 times. I was in, and then I wasn't, and then I was in, and I wasn't. And, you know, there was things. The business was new. They'd only been around for 12 months. So for me, coming from a larger agency that had been around a very long time, had good connections across Canberra, it felt risky. So I actually I couldn't make the decision because I was being influenced at both ends by both directors and I was really struggling. I went and saw a psychic. I know that sounds crazy. Anyway, everything that she said to me even before we started. So she goes, I'm not going to say anything to you until the end of the session. And we sat there for 5 minutes. She just read me and she's like, you have to take this job.
That was it.
That was it. And everything she said has played out. Every single thing. So, best decision.
That's incredible. Well, you're certainly very successful. So it's a huge credit to what you've put into it as well. We all know that real estate can be tough at times. It has its ups and its downs. What helps keeps you grounded?
Me time. Goodness. Look, for me, it's my routine. So I do Pilates in the morning, yoga, I meditate. You know, it's those things. It's kind of bringing me back to being grounded that help with, I guess, the hits and the ups and downs that you get in the industry. You know, preparing myself for the day at the start sets me up to be at least in the right frame of mind. So, you know, if it is one of those days where everything's going down or one of those days where everything's going up, you know that you're going to be as mentally prepared as possible for that, essentially. But like, I love the beach. Like this morning, oh my goodness. You know, I was out just walking along the beach, that type of stuff. That's what grounds me. That's what keeps me calm.
Yeah.
But again, also having people around you. Like there's moments where you know, my nervous energy's high. You know, I'm running around like a crazy person and I've just got to go into the office and talk to someone and be like, and they're like, just, you know, and it just stops you and it grounds you and you're like, okay,
yes,
I'm good.
I think it's important to try and have some sort of balance. It's not easy in this industry.
Yep.
One of the things that I love is also Pilates, and that for me has been in my life for the last 23 years, and it's an absolute must.
Agreed. Yeah.
So for a first home buyer looking to come into the market that's a little bit overwhelmed, they don't know what they should be looking for, what would your advice be to them?
Talk to as many people as you possibly can. You know, talk to lots of real estate agents, you know, and find some ones out there that you trust and that you can get some really good advice from. Speak to brokers, get really good contacts there as well if you can. Speak to family, friends. Like, I guess, you know, go to open homes, look around, meet people. Try and just do as much research as you possibly can, and connect. I mean, again, like available. Like if anyone wants to talk about, what they should look out for, or, some good areas to buy. Because a lot of people, it's kind of like, this is what we want, but we're not really sure how to go about it or where to look. So I think probably try and just talk to as many people as you can.
Yeah, we say that all the time. Do your research, because quite often what you think you want is very different to what is right for you.
Agreed.
And also there's so many other suburbs out there that offer great lifestyles and can fit in with your budget. So it is about doing the research and speaking to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So you've had your own investment property journey as well.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to share with the listeners? It could be tips, could be stories.
What not to do.
Yeah, what not to do.
Well, look, it's a good little flow on from what you were saying before. Don't beat yourself up if you make the wrong move in your journey. My husband and I bought an investment property in an area which we thought was going to be good to invest in, and it became the worst investment that we possibly could have made. And it was okay. We just had to change strategy for a little while. But don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake. I think just dive in, do your research first, obviously,
Yes.
Get some really good buyer's agents on your side and do your research. But if you make a mistake, if you invest somewhere that isn't performing, if you buy somewhere and you don't like the location, it's okay. Like we recovered from that. We ended up kind of getting to where we are quite quickly in the last couple of years. So you can still do it. I think just, if you make a mistake, just pick up and keep going.
Yeah. Learn from your mistakes.
Yes,
Don't
learn
beat yourself
from
up.
them. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's the key there.
Yeah, definitely.
Are there any interesting sales campaigns that you've had or an interesting negotiation that stands out that you want to share with us?
Ooh, good question. There's a few, but I probably can't give too much detail around. An interesting negotiator. I mean, they're always, not always, but at the moment I'm finding they're definitely more problem solving now than maybe there was 12 to 24 months ago. I'd say it's probably because, complexities around finance, the market isn't what it was, 24 months ago. And so I think our deals and our negotiations at the moment, there's a lot of moving pieces. So, which is what I love, because I love problem solving. I mean, I like the deals where they're straightforward.
Yes, I think everyone does, yes.
But, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, so we've got 3 people, 3 deals here. They're all meant to be kind of settling one after another. There's an issue here. Like it's, piecing all of that together I think is quite good. But I can't think of any.
Is there a funny story?
I know, I knew you were going to
An open home that was funny.
Oh, gosh. I mean, not in terms of the negotiation. I think I've definitely embarrassed myself in front of people before. So, open homes falling over in front of whole crowds. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off, okay? Keep going.
Absolutely. We've all had funny times.
Mm-hmm.
So as a successful agent yourself, someone looking to become an aspiring agent, what would you advise them to be doing?
Be prepared to work hard. But again, talk to a lot of people, do a lot of research, get experience with different brands if you can, work experience. One of my contacts actually started with us doing work experience. Oh, goodness. I think it was this time last year, and she's now pretty much running the Hive office from a daily basis. And so, she wants to be an agent. This is Remy. She wants to be an agent, and her in was to do that, work experience, go and experience what it's like on a daily basis. And then she'd she was able to get a job with us. So, I think get as much experience as you can talking to agents and understanding the lifestyle, because that's what real estate is. It's not a job.
No.
It is not a job. If you're looking for Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, or even, Monday to Saturday with a day off during the week, it just doesn't happen. If you want to be in that top percentile of agents, it's bloody hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of hours, and it's a commitment. And so you've got to really understand what that lifestyle entails before diving in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, how come you decided to become an auctioneer?
Okay. Wasn't my idea. It was Josh's idea, actually. He planted the seed 2 and a bit years ago. Don't get me wrong. I like being the center of attention. I do like performing. So it was kind of a natural progression for me. But he planted the seed at breakfast one morning. He's like, you should look at this. Now, instantly I was like scared. Instantly I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But I went away and was like 100%. And the reason around that more so was actually because there was not many female auctioneers, especially not in Canberra. We've got a couple of really great auctioneers now, female auctioneers, and they do a great job in Canberra. But it's a very small market down there. And so I saw an opportunity, but also to test myself. I've always been told if it frightens you, run at it. Always. So it did. It instantly. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, I've got to do it. And I just like people seeing, again, women in that space. We can do it just as good.
Absolutely.
If not better. But again, it's part of showing people that they can do whatever they want.
Getting uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. And it still terrifies me every time. I go to get out there and do it. But I love it. And again, it's what it represents in terms of, if you want to do it, you can.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh has been a really good mentor, role model. Has there been anyone else or a few others along the journey that have stood out to be good mentors for you?
Yeah, well, my husband has been by my side pretty much since we were at school, Jake. So, he's my I don't know, my biggest advocate. He's there. He has to deal with the late nights. He has to deal with me working all the time, not being able to go away on holidays and, all of those things, right? So, but he's backed me in everything that I've wanted to do. He's like, yes, go babe, you do it. So yeah, from a personal side, from a business side, I think it's a lot of the connections that I've made in the last couple of years. And watching them, Lana Samuels from White Fox, I connected with her a couple of years ago now, and I still remember the meeting. I was very nervous. And I was sitting there just thinking, looking at her and what she's built and the White Fox brand and but also what she represented as well. She's a very strong woman and very strong in that space, and that's what I wanted to learn from her. So having that confidence to be able to basically be able to do what we do. So yeah.
And you guys do it very well.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. None of us have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
However, I thought it would be good for you to tell the audience, the listeners, what you see happening in the next 3 to 6 months in the Canberra market. So just for the listeners out there, we're at the end of May in 2024.
Yep.
What do you see?
So Canberra, across that winter season, we're pretty quiet at the moment in terms of stock levels. We have definitely seen an increase this year across that market, but it is, our days on market have doubled. So in the inner south market, which is where we predominantly work, we're sitting kind of on average, it's about 70 days on market at the moment. So We're expecting that we're going to see a lot more stock hit the market in that spring season. You'll tend to find we'll have buyers kind of pop out. They kind of hibernate a little bit in Canberra over winter. So I'm expecting to see kind of a lot more stock hit the market. I think there's going to be some pretty good buying opportunities this year, but I also think we're starting to see confidence come back into the market as well. So confidence, stability, buyers are getting comfortable with where rates are and where the market is at the moment. So I think we're going to see a lot more people starting to dive back into the market that had put that purchase on hold for a while. So I think we'll see much of what we've been seeing, but we're expecting that next year the market's definitely going to improve. So I think from a buyer's point of view, I think there's going to be really good buying opportunity this year, but I think don't leave it too long.
Yes.
Because I think you'll miss the boat. And like we were talking about earlier, you've started to see an increase across Sydney. We tend to float, we're about 6 months behind Sydney. So if you're starting to see, that confidence come back in here now, I think we'll start to see it soon too.
Yes. And are you seeing a lot of first-home buyers jumping out at you now looking to buy, or are they still sitting on the fence?
No, the first home buyer market in Canberra is still pretty strong. So anything under kind of 750,000 is going like that. So I think people are feeling a lot more confident in that market now. There's other markets. I mean, there's markets within markets across Canberra, of course, like there is everywhere. But, there's different kind of price points that are performing different across Canberra. But I think, the first home buyer market, if it's, the apartment market is trickling along okay. If it's a townhouse or a house on the outer kind of suburbs of Canberra, anything under 750, and it's gone within a week or two.
Yeah, very similar to the Sydney market in terms of the first home buyers.
Yeah. Your first home buyers would be a bit higher than...
They would be higher, but that they're out there in full force because the confidence is there within the marketplace.
Good. Yeah. Good.
So if any of the listeners want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Instagram, of course, probably more Instagram than Facebook. But Instagram, you can get my phone number on our website as well. So, but please do, I'm very, very much open to helping other people, whether you're starting off or whether you're in the industry or you just want to, talk about a deal and how to put something together. I'm more than happy to help.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.